Ma'am, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you guys for letting me speak. Carrie Young from Narragansett. I'm speaking strongly against Senate Bill 152 and Senate Bill 152 sub A. One of the kids had spoken maybe about 20 minutes ago, and he began to talk about partial birth abortion. In a partial birth abortion, which does exist, and you can look this up online and see the illustrations, the baby is partially delivered so that their head is outside of the woman, and then the baby is stabbed in the back of the neck and their brains sucked out. That's the reality of abortion. That's what happens. You don't hear the other side saying that. It doesn't sell as well. That's the truth. And earlier term abortions are gruesome as well. It's always blood, it's always killing, breaking bones, crushing of skulls. And you might wonder, with how horrible this is, how did this ever become a reality in America? Well, abortion really was largely built on a lie. Norma McCorvey, who was Roe and Roe v. Wade, she will tell you, she just passed away a few years ago, but she was tricked into this by Gloria Allred and Sarah Weddington and the key players in this, and NARAL. She was told, she never had an abortion, by the way, and she was told this was something that was just going to apply to Texas, just lie upon lie upon lie. And she said that she would spend the rest of her life trying to make up for this law that held her name, that she knew. Bernard Nathanson, and somebody had touched on the silent scream. This is an abortionist who did 75,000 abortions. And he produced the movie The Silent Scream, where you can actually see an ultrasound, sorry, I'm so tired, an ultrasound guided abortion where you can see the baby desperately trying to get out of the way of the cannula. He senses the mortal danger, what's about to happen to him. It has nowhere to escape, and you see the baby actually screaming. There's nowhere to go, and then you see the baby killed. Well, this sheds a lot of light on, the kind of the deception that's unfortunately used. He talks about how, he was responsible for the 75,000 abortions. He said a truthful poll of opinion then, meaning back in 1968, would have found that most Americans were against permissive abortion. Yet within 5 years, we had convinced the Supreme Court to issue the decision which legalized abortion throughout America in 1973 and produced virtual abortion on demand up to birth. How did we do this? The first key tactic was to capture the media. Knowing that if a true poll were taken, we would be soundly defeated, we simply fabricated the results of fictional polls. We announced to the media that we had taken polls and that 60% of Americans were in favor of permissive abortion. This is a tactic of the self-fulfilling lie. Few people want to be in the minority. We aroused enough sympathy to sell our program of permissive abortion by fabricating the number of illegal abortions done annually in the U.S. The actual figure was approaching 100,000, but the figure we gave to the media repeatedly was 1 million. Repeating the big lie often enough convinces the public. The number of women dying from illegal abortions was around 200 to 250 annually. The figure constantly fed to the media was 10,000. So that's a big jump, 200 to 250. He admitted this lie. He said, this is how we got Roe v. Wade passed. He was a founding member of NARAL, and he was on another association at that time that had a lot to do with that. So from 250 at the most to 10,000. I mean, any death is horrible, but the thing is that with abortion, you're going to see a lot of horrible effects to the woman as well. And he also said that another lie that they came up with and pushed was, once we legalize this, it's going to drive abortion rates way down. But of course, he said the opposite was true, and abortion rates skyrocketed so that you see such a steady increase since 1973. So the legalization of it vastly increased the incidence of it. Now, with the poll that you guys saw promoted constantly by the Women Project and I think possibly some other groups, 71%, you'll see signs that they still used today. I saw, like on the backs of the chairs, 71% of Rhode Islanders support the Reproductive Health Care Act. That's a lie. It's really a lie. Even if they take the poll that was done by the Providence Journal, who's admittedly pro-choice and did a whole, commentary by their editorial board saying so. Even if you believe their poll, it was 71% saying that they would approve something to do with, I don't know the exact wording, but they did not say anything about this bill in particular. They did not say, would you support the Reproductive Health Care Act, which, by the way, would legalize abortion even up to the moment of birth, because it does. I know I won't go into all this, as you know. There are no prohibitions on it. If they give the exception of the life or the health of the mother. So that's it. You can do it as long as you have a say that your life or health is in jeopardy, and the health, of course, can include anything. I'm very stressed out by this pregnancy. Psychologically, I'm producing anxiety. It doesn't say in the bill that they can't, so they can. I mean, lawyers understand that. So, I've been hearing the craziest things tonight, like a woman can't be a full citizen, or somebody had actually said a fully realized person without this. You can't be a full citizen or a fully realized person unless you kill your own children. We can't have really drifted that far away from the truth. You look at the terms that are used, abortion care. It's always the same terms. These are marketing slogans that are being employed. You'll hear that everybody's saying the same thing. Abortion care, safe, legal abortion, a full spectrum of women's reproductive services. Every single one of those means killing an unborn child. It means killing a baby. That's what it means. It's just put in a clever marketing package that makes people believe that it's not bad. But that's the truth. Planned Parenthood.
Can I just have you start to wrap up?
Sure, I'm sorry. I just have two more topics, so I'll try to go faster. Gail had talked about Planned Parenthood. Abby Johnson, who was the Employee of the Year, she was the director in Bryan, Texas of Planned Parenthood. She didn't realize this when she started. She thought she was helping women there. She was actually pulled aside by her superior and said, you have to increase your abortions. She had an abortion quota. She goes, wait a minute, I thought I was supposed to be having abortions safe, legal, and rare, or whatever. No, it's their cash cow. That's the way that they make money. So that's in their business plan. They want more abortions. They do 320,000 abortions annually. They're in the abortion business. They're the largest abortion business in the country. The other thing I just wanted to touch on really quick, and I have testimony from Dr. Angela Lanfranchi. She was a breast surgeon for 33 years, a top breast surgeon in New Jersey. She's a clinical associate professor of surgery at Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School and several other, president of the Breast Cancer Prevention Institute. She'll tell you about, abortion is not just, it's not health care. It causes death. Death is not healthy. The baby always dies, and the woman is often left with many horrible effects: uterine laceration, hemorrhaging, future premature births, because you're not in dilation. You're not going through actual labor, so you don't dilate. They have to go in and they have to crank open the cervix to be able to get the baby out. So what happens because of that, you have damaged cervix, and in future births, so if you get pregnant, say, a year later, because of the damage done to the cervix, oftentimes when you get further along, the weight of the baby can weigh down, and then you cause the baby to be born prematurely. Another big risk factor when you have induced abortion, which is not spontaneous abortion, induced abortion, it greatly increases your risk of breast cancer. So this will tell you a lot more about that. It's just common sense, really, because when you get pregnant, you have a mass proliferation of your breast cells, but those are all type 1 and type 2 breast lobules, which are more cancer susceptible. And then after week 32 in the pregnancy, the baby, as a protective mechanism for the mother, and also because the mother is preparing to breastfeed, those type 1 and type 2 cancer susceptible breast lobules are matured into type 4 cancer resistant breast lobules. So when the baby is killed before week 32, the mother is still left with all of those new type 1 and type 2. So all of these new places for breast cancer to start. This has been documented in 60 studies.
It's been over 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm
sorry.
sorry.
We still have a couple more panels, so I really need you to conclude.
36 of those studies show actual causation. They're statistically significant, showing that there's a 95% certainty that the results could not have happened by any other means. I'm going to just give you guys a copy of that.